Right, guys, you see the amazing cast on screen in that trailer, and we are privileged to be joined by two of the amazing young stars of the film tonight, Brenton Thwaites, Odeya Rush, and the producer, Nikki Silver. Give it up, guys.
G'day.
All right, guys. You should be warned. It's really not a warning. It's a good thing. These guys, I think, they've been doing a lot of press. This has been quite a road for you guys. I saw you guys in Comic-Con. You guys saw you at the press conference today. When you make a movie, making the movie is just the start. Has it been fun to sort of experience the crazy other side of this, to meet the press and to meet the fans?
The business of show business.
Exactly.
It's been a wild ride. It's crazy. It's my first time doing all this stuff. But we're making it fun. We're making it cool.
How do you make it fun? What's the secret
By
to
doing
making it
things
fun?
like this.
There you go.
Come in here.
There you go. So I alluded to this at the start. This is a book that came out over 20 years ago. Huge bestseller, beloved in classrooms around the world. Yet it's taken a while to get this to the screen. And Nikki, obviously, you go way back with this project. Talk to me a little bit about how you first encountered the material, and are you surprised it took as long as it did to get here?
Yeah, surprised, overwhelmed, all of the above. I always say I date how long I've been involved in this by the age of my first son, who's almost 17 years old next week. It's been a journey, and an epic one, sort of like Jonas's Out of the Community. But I had an amazing partner in Jeff Bridges, whose passion for this project never wavered, which is pretty amazing when you think about somebody in Hollywood sticking with something for so long. Then again, the man's been married for 35 years. So, but it was hard. We never realized it was going to be so difficult. But it's difficult material because there's so much to it, and the book is so powerful. And we wanted to do it justice, and we wanted to be able to give sort of a big, fun, blockbuster movie, but that kept and retained all the things about the book that was important to us and very important to Lois, and she stayed with us. And because it took so long, now we have these two amazing cast members with us, one of who wouldn't have been alive, and the other one would have played like the brother, Emma's...
The baby.
Emma, exactly.
Baby Gabriel.
Baby Gabe.
A lot of baby time in this film. We'll get to that, among other things. Let's talk a little bit about how you guys entered the project here. Talk to me a little about audition process. What was it like? Did you know the material going in? Did you see a script, or were you sort of like a little ignorant of how big a deal this was when you got involved?
I was, to an extent, completely disconnected from the story. For me, it was like I was auditioning for a while, and this came up, so I just treated it as another audition. You go in, you prepare, try and get a job. And then I read the book, and I realized what a powerful story it was. But auditioning for Philip Noyce was very hard. It was a challenge. He really wanted me to find Jonas before they showed Nikki and Jeff and other decision makers of the film, because these kids are 12, and that was something that was very close to Jeff's heart, and so to let go of that was a huge thing, I think.
So how many different sort of meetings did you have, auditions did you have, and were you feeling like enough's enough? I feel like I've gotten this. Come on, guys.
Oh, dude. Yeah, totally, man. After my 5th audition, I remember saying to my manager, he's like, okay, you got to go in and read for Phil again. I'm like, man, just tell me I've got it, and then I'll go in and massage his feet if he wants, But it was okay.
I mean, that speaks to Philip Noyce. For you guys that don't know, I mean, look up this guy's credits. He's had an eclectic, amazing career, and there's certainly an exacting vision for just the look of this film, let alone the performances that he brings out of you guys. So it's all for a good cause.
Yeah, and that really formed the start of our relationship, our working relationship. So it was, I didn't realize it at the time, but it was valuable hours, rehearsal hours,
Odeya, talk to me a little bit from your perspective. Okay, so was Brenton already on board when you were auditioning?
The first time, no. Jeff was the only one on board. And I came in and read for Phil, and usually auditions are like 10, 15 minutes. This was an hour long. And then at the end, he was just like, good, and just kind of like dismissed me. And I was like, oh my God, I'm never coming back here. I would never think that I would even get a call back or that he even liked me. And then I got called back 5 more times. And I think, it was like rehearsal because by the 5th audition, Ross Emery, the DP, was there, and there's a scene where I enter the triangle and I would open the door and enter the room, and we would actually have an apple, and Nikki was there helping us and also giving, direction like a producer. So it really felt like rehearsal.
We brought the DP in to light you perfectly
Yeah.
for that last
Yeah,
last
thanks
audition.
for that.
You should tell them about when you broke the wall of the casting room.
Do tell. What happened?
Everyone thinks I broke the wall of the
I have a
casting office.
picture that tells the story.
But the truth is, everyone, for the record, Asher and Jonas have a fight scene. And Philip would say, I would audition with, 10 different actors in the day to try and find Asher before Cameron was cast. And he would just say, okay, improvise. Just do the fight scene. And I would say, well, it's a fight scene. You can't just do a fight scene, someone's going to get punched. Cameron came in, and we had something planned, but it just didn't go well. And we lost our balance, and Cameron ended up in the wall.
Someone
I
had
was
to.
downstairs, actually.
And we knew the chemistry was perfect at that point.
Yeah, I mean, if you have to get put through a wall to be cast, that's okay.
Always a good sign if you break some furniture in an audition, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So is it a relief by the time you get onto set? This is shot in South Africa. It looks beautiful, as I said before. Is it a relief, or is it the feeling like, oh, God, the work's just begun? As you said before, Odeya, I mean, felt like you'd already kind of gotten a head start, maybe, thanks to the process you went through.
Yeah. So I think when I first got on set, I kind of had a clear idea of what the scenes would be like since we worked on them so much. But then Phil took it to an entire new level, and sometimes we do reshoots of a scene because Phil just would come up with so many more ideas and pulled out so much more out of you. So I would say there was a level of comfort because I knew Brenton and I knew Jeff and I knew Nikki and I knew Phil, but we completely, from the audition room, from the first take you do in the beginning of the day to the last take, it's a complete transformation.
Brenton, talk to me a little bit about how you relate to this character. As you said, I mean, a lot's been made that the character, and everyone's on board with this, including Lois, that it's been aged up, obviously. So the character in the book, I think, is, 12, somewhere around there?
Turning 13.
Yeah. Turning 13. So obviously having her blessing means everything, as well as the entire group. But talk to me a little bit about why you relate to the journey this guy's going on. What resonated with you?
Well, first of all, when you read a character that goes against the grain, like Jonas does, and steps outside the box, it's kind of interesting. Also, he starts at this film with a very blank canvas and is given a series of memories and is chosen to learn the history of the world. And that's pretty interesting. And I thought, what an opportunity to learn such interesting things, to study such interesting things. And, as an actor, you want to feel, we want to kind of express. And this was, the kind of job where I had the permission, I had the license to go all out, and just try my hardest. Even though Philip would always bring me down. You're doing too much, mate. You're doing too much. Bring it in. Less.
What was Jeff saying in that? Was he saying go big or go small? We got a few clips we want to share with you guys from this awesome-looking film. Let's take a look at this. I think this involves both of your characters, this first clip. And we'll take a look and then get some of your recollections from the shooting of it. So what jumps out when you see that scene?
You know what jumps out to me? Because I've seen that many times in doing these things. You know what jumps out to me? Is the positioning we had to get in for the kiss. What? That was pretty intense, wasn't it? We did it about 20 times.
That I had to stop you like that?
Yeah, and where we were standing and how the light was hitting us was so specific.
It's technical.
Millimeters to the left. So I remember we did it and we, after a while it just became like clockwork and Phil's like, okay, remember, you got to act in this one. And we're like, oh, okay, yeah, no worries.
Yeah. No, it's technical because when you do your close-up, it's different, and then when they do the two-shot, it's different. So,
that was the Cape Town soccer stadium too. Yeah. And we really wanted to, during lunch, go out and go on the football field, and we weren't allowed, though. That would have been great. Yeah.
It's obviously not an out-and-out romance, but there's obviously the first inkling of this relationship and what might have been or what might be in this film, including you get a waterfall and everything. I mean, that's all you need in a budding romance, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty romantic.
Well, it's actually it's a huge moment, this, because my character is chosen to receive these memories and these feelings and these emotions. No one else experiences them. And so usually I instigate a new emotion or feeling. You know, I instigate my feelings towards Fiona. And this is the moment where it's reversed. And so it's actually quite a pivotal moment in the film, in our relationships.
Let's take a look at this scene from The Giver as well. I mean, talk to me a little bit about, we saw in that first clip, there is, you especially get a lot of time with a baby, a child in this one. That's a challenge for an actor. How many, is it, I assume twins or triplets or something you have to?
It was twins, James and Alex, and we alternated. One would sleep, one would shoot, one would cry, one would poop.
We're talking about the baby, right? Not the
oh.
adult actor.
Oh, no, I thought you were
Sorry.
talking about me. No, sorry.
Did you immediately bond, or is that tough? Is that at a whole nother level of dimension? Babies are not necessarily, you know, directable.
No, they're not very socially friendly, are they? No, it was difficult for me at the start. Patience. Definitely with shooting with babies. Yeah. And at the end, you know, I learnt how to trigger them in certain ways. We had a baby whisperer on set. Her name was Tracy. And she was amazing. She would inspire the baby to laugh, or she had a host of toys and little finger gestures and sounds that she would do, and like little balloons that she would squeeze. It was kind of fun, you know. It was fun trying to get this baby to laugh, but eventually, you know, we formed quite a strong bond.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's almost like the process that happened in the film, in the relationship between Jonas and Gabriel, is what happened off screen too. It was fascinating to watch you the first time that baby was put on you to kind of at the end where we really had a relationship with these two. I don't think we could tell them apart though yet. I still don't know which one's which. Do you?
No.
I have twins in my family. What we would do is we would put red nail polish on one of them. It's for advice for any identical twins.
Don't tell them that later in life.
They know.
Boys,
They're
though,
proud
right?
of it.
Boys.
Yeah, boys.
Cool stunt work too in the film. I mean, are those the days you look forward to when you get to do a little bit of implementing? There's a sled in the film that kind of like rears its face in different incarnations. What are the kind of the fun physicality that you bring to the role, the fun days in terms from that?
Well,
aspect?
I mean, I have to give the stunt guys some credit here because they did some crazy stunts. I did a lot of my own stunts, but not all of them, you know. And some of the, you know, falling off the waterfall and a lot of the snow stuff was performed by the best stunt guys. Make me look really cool. But yeah, those moments where you feel the slice of adrenaline and you feel like you could die are pretty cool. And I have to say, Odeya is quite the stunt woman. She was fearless in sliding down these slides and jumping all over the place.
Thanks.
Look at her playing it cool.
Whatever.
Just
Do
another
it from
day at the
time to
office.
time.
We had Brenton in minus 20 degree weather in Utah and in the like hot desert in Krabi's. I mean, we went the spectrum. These two were real troopers the whole time. It was amazing.
Was the decision to shoot in South Africa, I mean, just, you know, we've seen many, obviously, different kind of futuristic or utopian societies and different incarnations, but to your credit, this is a unique look that you guys have created in this one. Is that hand in hand with the decision to shoot where you did?
Partially. I think the landscape and things like that. South Africa offered us a wide range of looks and opportunities, but a lot of the look of the community goes to Ed Verreau, our production designer, who really just did an incredible job in creating this world. I mean, the other day Lois said, it wasn't what I thought about at first, but now that's what I think the Giver community looks like, and that was huge praise for him. So it was a combination of a lot of things going to South Africa. It was certainly we got more for our money in South Africa. We had a great time. There's something about being away with the cast and crew that breeds a different form of family. I mean, we had a great time there as well. Odeya went shark diving. Brenton used to play music with Jeff and Cameron, and Odeya would sing. So, you know, part of it was being away. We were a long way from home. So really, at a certain point, we only had each other, and it comes through.
in the spirit of the theme of the movie, a society that tries to dispense with any and all memories of the past, is there any memory of the making of this film that you would gladly flush from your brain, or is it all good?
Any of those sharks?
I like the sharks. That's a good memory.
When I almost got frostbite, I would gladly throw that memory away.
I'd throw that one away too.
That day was pretty intense.
Yeah. If we do we have that clip? Great. I do want to see the work of Meryl and Jeff. I'm saying their first names because we're close friends now. Let's take a look at their amazing work in this film.
I will tell you, that day was probably the day I remember most. There are 2 days that I remember most. One was the first day that we shot Brenton and walking into that amazing set, and it was exactly what I imagined when I had read the book, and you walking down those stairs and opening the door, and Jeff being at the bottom saying, "Books, your books." But that day was, it was like a master class. I mean, we were sitting behind the monitors watching these two actors who they're the greatest actors of our generation, and they'd never acted together. And they were just sitting there, and all of us were speechless. It was remarkable.
I mean, the funny thing is, especially, Jeff, I know just from interviewing myself and seeing him in interviews, he's such a disarming presence, even despite the gravitas that he brings to a role when it demands it. You obviously share a lot of one-on-one time with him in this film. I mean, I don't know, how would you describe what a working relationship is with Jeff Bridges? What does he bring to a scene that makes you a better actor?
Well, I have to say, as Nikki just said, it was like a masterclass every day. And my character learns these emotions. Jeff gives me, a string of emotions, memories that inspire my journey. And it was really like that on set. The parallels were insane. I was very scared, nervous, anxious, worried, about, am I going to be good? Am I going to be, is he going to like me? All these ridiculous things that you think you don't want to think of, but it's just natural. They just come up, But he was very giving. I mean, I have to say, that's kind of pathetic, seeing as though the movie is The Giver. But he was very nice, very friendly, and very open, encouraging me to try different things, to be impulsive in the moment. And I found it quite easy to tap into Jeff once Philip called action. He's always right there.
As if the cast wasn't insane enough, we haven't even mentioned that this marks an important turning point for Taylor Swift, and that she makes an appearance in this film, her most sizable role to date, in a key role as Rosemary. What's the best perk of having an icon like Taylor Swift and getting to mix it up with her? I know, Odeya, you've described the relationship with her as kind of a big sister to you.
Yeah, she's so sweet, and I think so amazing in this part, and she jumps in and she can do anything. I feel like she's so open, and I didn't work with her, but I think from watching her, it just proved to me that she's capable of anything, and just from hearing Jeff speak about her, the fact that she came into this completely open, completely willing, not afraid to fail, and that's what Jeff encourages to do.
We'll turn this over to your amazing questions in a second, but just the last thing I want to ask, Lois Lowry, obviously the gifted author behind this, fully in support of this movie. She was at the press conference today. Did she ever choose to come on set? Was she a resource to you guys at all, or did you decide?
She was with us through the whole process, and once you tell Philip Noyce that you can email him, he'll 17 times a day he would send her a little note. What should be on Jonas's wall? What should Fiona be wearing? What length should their hair be? So she really was intimately involved and has been a really huge supporter. And she was the one who said to us as we started adapting this, stay true to the spirit of my novel. Make sure the themes, all the things that are important. And I was just with her, actually, and she saw the final film last night at the premiere, and she gave a statement and did an interview, a post-interview for us, and said, I was so overwhelmed because I truly think this is a beautiful film. So as far as I'm concerned, that's the highest praise I can Have.
Mission accomplished, definitely. All right, guys, ready for your questions? I think there's a mic or two maybe rolling around.
Hey guys, my name is Ryan. I was going to ask you, Brenton, coming from Australia, how was it with your first American project trying to lose that accent, or was it training growing up in Australia that allowed you to easily transition into a neutral American accent?
Exactly that. It's just practice, man. This wasn't my first one. There's a lot of other ones you haven't heard about, or maybe you have heard about. But, you know, it's just practice. There's no real trick to it. In Australia, we grow up with, you know, all these movies as well. I've got my buddy traveling with me at the moment from Australia, and he was saying it's kind of like he knows New York. He feels familiar in New York because, you know, we've seen so many movies, so many American movies. And us Aussies like to imitate people and make fun of people, so, you know, it's easy to tap into.
Is that how I sound? Oh, my God.
Hey, Brenton, how was it shooting The Giver?
Oh, I retire. This is it.
How was it like yesterday at the premiere to see all those fans there that turned out for you? Like, what did you feel? How was it? Was it overwhelming or?
It was overwhelming.
Yeah. Because like there was such a huge turnout, and they were all like screaming, "Oh, Odeya, Brenton," and stuff.
Yeah, I just remember after everybody screaming and then getting out there, and there were so many lights, and by the time I got to the interviews, I just felt dizzy because there were just so many people calling your name from it is overwhelming. I wasn't used to it. But it's exciting at the same time because you see how many people love this story and connect to this story and are excited about this story. So that makes you feel really good.
Hi, I was just wondering if you had a chance to pick any of the current young adult books that's being made into movies as of right now, since that's the popular trend. Which book would you pick to be part of the movie? Mostly, like, which movie would you be a part of that's in the popular young adult section now?
The Giver. Well, I just, yeah. It's still popular in schools.
You mean in the last 5 years?
Yeah. She's saying you're young. But I just, can I promote another book?
You can do anything you want to.
Thanks. Okay. I just read this book, Wonder.
That's a great book.
It's such a good book. And there's a part for me in it. And I really hope they make the movie.
They're going to make that movie.
You should buy the rights and cast her in it.
Yeah. I'm just saying right now, I'll do it.
We're pretty much halfway to a Go project right here, right now.
Right now, on Apple.
Hi. My question's for Nikki, actually. What's it like being a producer when you get to do great films like this? Like, what's your specific, what pops out at films or things like that you choose to follow along for so many years in films?
This book haunted me from the day I read it. My background actually is I come out of children's television. I produced Reading Rainbow for about 15 years. So, thank you. And still incredibly proud of that. But through that really just grew a love of children's literature and children's books. And they just, because to me, there's something about young adult literature. It just taps in to something. But The Giver stands out. And to me, it's the gem. And I was never giving up on it. And believe me, there were a lot of times in this process that people looked at me as if I was insane. It's 15 years. No, one more option period. I promise. This is it. We'll get it done this time. But look what we did. We got it done. So if you're thinking about doing it, find something you love and just stick with it.
How long is an option period?
Depends. It can be 2 years, and then you have to buy it, and then you can lose it, and then you have to buy it again. It's
so you guys have to keep buying the book for over 18 years?
We bought it once, and we actually lost the rights for a few years, and I just kept doggedly calling Lois on the phone, saying, remember me? Remember that script that we wrote that you liked? And the other people who had it during that period weren't able to get it done, and afterwards, I think, basically because of her faith in Jeff and wanting Jeff to be the giver, she gave us one more chance, and that's how we got it done.
Do you think it resonates any more or less now versus if you had made it 15 years ago? This, I mean, it seems to be pretty timeless. It could go in any period, but obviously you get the cast that you always were destined to get this way. But is there anything else about where the times we're living in today that you think makes it more or less right?
I think it's a great question. I mean, I think the book is more relevant today than it's ever been, and that's a tribute to the book itself. Just it is an evergreen property, but I think we're in a very difficult period right now, and I think there are people, we were having this conversation with Philip before, there are people who would say, you know what, I don't want the pain anymore. I don't want all the, I don't know what word I can use, crap that, you know, is out there that I'm dealing with. So I think there are people that would look at this world and say, well, maybe I would choose that, and that's scary. So I think today is the right time for this film, because we can't give it up. There's too much joy, and sometimes, you know, happiness just comes in little bits. I mean, Taylor said that this morning at the press conference, but you live for those moments, and they're essential. And this movie is about what it means to be human, and it's so important that we all sort of get back to that.
Hi, I read The Giver when I was 8 years old. No, so no pressure, guys.
Wow.
But
you're an early reader.
Yeah, my question is for Odeya. In the book, Fiona, the character you play, doesn't really get much time. Jonas kind of goes on his journey alone to discovery, and I wanted to know, you had this opportunity to really create this character and take her on a journey because it wasn't written beforehand and it was developed for the film. So could you describe the character that you created and the journey you took her on?
I think it was really a collaboration of what the ideas that Lois had, because she did describe Fiona as someone who takes care of the old. She's destined to take care of people. She's very giving and very generous, which I think is in the film as well, because she's taking care of babies. And but I worked from Lois's ideas and the script, and also with Phil, because Fiona is very complex. She begins being kind of naive and happy and content and living in this world and not knowing any better and kind of being the more mature of the two guys. And then I think everything shifts. The relationship shifts. Asher shifts kind of away from us, and something else happens between Fiona and Jonas, and she notices that something is wrong, but she's not fully capable of emotion, and she's the only one in the community. She's not like the Giver and Jonas, where they get memories and color and music, and you know, she's not training with the Giver, but she's also not like everyone else, because when she stops taking her injections, she does come close to feeling something. And I think it's really amazing to see the journey that she takes of how, I think when you see Fiona in the beginning, she doesn't seem like someone who would really stand up to Mother and really call her out and see the evil in this world. She seems someone so naive and happy. And I really like the transformation that she does. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, that was great. I mean, it's one of the reasons we aged up the character, was to be able to do all the things that you so successfully did with the character of Fiona and explore all those issues.
Hi, my question's for Nikki. So what aspects of the novel did you find most difficult to adapt into the movie, and what factored into your decisions to either overcome those challenges or just simply omit the details altogether?
Well, for sure, the hardest part of adapting this was the ending. And people are incredibly attached to the ending. I know I was attached to the ending. Of the three producers on this, we all had different views of what actually happened in the ending. And then Lois shows up to set wearing a shirt that says Jonas lives. So it was all very confusing. And, you know, it's something that people, you read the blogs, we've spent a lot of time seeing what people are passionate about the book, and the end is something that they care deeply about. And we worked on it and worked on it and worked on it, and ultimately had to come to the decision, and I don't want to give away the end, but that the movie is its own medium. You know, it's a different thing than a book. So, and there are 4 other books that have come out since then. There are 3 others. It's a quartet. So we made the decisions that we made. There are going to be some people who say we should have done it this way or we should have done it that way. But I really think you walk away with all the emotion from the book, but we've added something that I hope will feel a little fulfilling to people who go to the movies.
So, how did this movie, in making the movie for the two of you, how did it change you in any way? What did, in terms of the ideas of the film, did it make you think about issues that you hadn't considered before and now have integrated them into your own life?
Okay. I think, well, there's I think filming the movie has changed me as an actress and as a person. I really grew working on this film, but just reading Lois's book, reading the script, being a part of this, it really made me appreciate a lot of the little things in life that we take for granted and, you know, look at all this beauty that life has to offer with all the montages and all the memories that that Jonas gets. Today we were in traffic and it was raining and I just saw people walking in the rain and I thought, like, this is life. This is, you know, this community, they don't have rain. They don't have funny things where little kids are jumping into puddles and, you know, your mom's getting mad at you, but then it's funny and it's fun and it's different, and every day has different, I mean, if you live here, every day has different weather. And you know, that's what makes life beautiful, and we need to really look at that, and we need to look at our differences and celebrate them.
Jonas learns a memory of home, and for me, I guess I just asked myself, you know, what is home to me? And home is where I grew up, my friends, my family, you know, the important things, especially my family. And I guess it made me realize, you know, I hadn't really had such a strong relationship with them. Left Australia to become an actor in America, and so for me, you know, I went back home and did a movie back home, and I formed a strong relationship with my family again and my friends, and so it really taught me about, you know, the necessities, the really important things in life.
It's pretty good for a movie.
Deep.
That's a good way to end the no, it's perfect. Let's give a round of applause to this amazing cast and producer. The Giver, only days away, August 15th, guys. Check it out. Thanks to this amazing panel.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
All right, guys, you see the amazing cast on screen in that trailer, and we were privileged to be joined by two of the amazing young stars of the film tonight, Brenton Thwaites, Odeya Rush, and the producer, Nikki Silver. Give it up, guys.
G'day.
All right, guys. You should be warned. It's really not a warning. It's a good thing. These guys, I think, they've been doing a lot of press. This has been quite a road for you guys. I saw you guys in Comic-Con. You guys saw you at the press conference today. When you make a movie, making the movie is just the start. Has it been fun to sort of experience the crazy other side of this, to meet the press and to meet the fans?
The business of show business.
Exactly.
It's been a wild ride. It's crazy. It's my first time doing all this stuff. But we're making it fun. We're making it cool.
How do you make it fun? What's the secret?
By
to
doing
making it
things
fun?
like this.
There you go.
Come in here.
There you go. So I alluded to this at the start. This is a book that came out over 20 years ago. Huge bestseller, beloved in classrooms, and the performances that he brings out of you guys. So it's all for a good cause.
Yeah, and you know, that really formed the start of our relationship, our working relationship. So it was, I didn't realize it at the time, but it was valuable hours, rehearsal hours, you know?
Odeya, talk to me a little bit from your perspective. Okay, so was Brenton already on board when you were auditioning?
The first time, no. Jeff was the only one on board. And I came in and read for Phil, and usually auditions are like 10, 15 minutes. This was an hour long. And then at the end, he was just like, good, and just kind of like dismissed me. And I was like, oh my God, I'm never coming back here. I would never think that I would even get a call back or that he even liked me. And then I got called back 5 more times. And I think, you know, it was like rehearsal, because by the 5th audition, Ross Emery, the DP, was there, and there's a scene where I enter the triangle, and I would I would open the door and enter.
Around the world, yet it's taken a while to get this to the screen. And Nikki, obviously, you go way back with this project. Talk to me a little bit about how you first encountered the material, and are you surprised it took as long as it did to get here?
Yeah, surprised, overwhelmed, all of the above. I always say I date how long I've been involved in this by the age of my first son, who's almost 17 years old next week. It's been a journey, and an epic one, sort of like Jonas's Out of the Community. But I had an amazing partner in Jeff Bridges, whose passion for this project never wavered, which is pretty amazing when you think about somebody in Hollywood sticking with something for so long. Then again, the man's been married for 35 years. So, but it was hard. We never realized it was going to be so difficult. But it's difficult material because there's so much to it, and the book is so powerful, and we wanted to do it justice, and we wanted to be able to give sort of a.
But auditioning for Philip Noyce was very hard. You know, it was a challenge. It was. He really wanted me to find Jonas before they showed Nikki and Jeff and other decision makers of the film, because these kids are 12, and that was something that was very close to Jeff's heart, and so to let go of that was a huge thing, I think.
So, how many different sort of meetings did you have, auditions did you have, and were you feeling like enough's enough? I feel like I've gotten this. Come on, guys.
Oh, dude. Yeah, totally, man. After my 5th audition, I remember saying to my manager, he's like, okay, you got to go in and read for Phil again. I'm like, man. Just tell me I've got it. And then I'll go in and massage his feet if he wants, But it was okay.
I mean, that speaks to Philip Noyce. For you guys that don't know, I mean, look up this guy's credits. He's had an eclectic, amazing career, and there's certainly an exacting vision for just the look of this film.
Big, fun, blockbuster movie, but that kept and retained all the things about the book that was important to us and very important to Lois, and she stayed with us. And because it took so long, now we have these 2 amazing cast members with us who. One of who wouldn't have been alive, and the other one would have played like the brother, Emma's.
The baby.
Emma, exactly.
Baby Gabriel.
Baby Gabe.
A lot of baby time in this film. We'll get to that, among other things. Let's talk a little bit about how you guys entered the project here. Talk to me a little about audition process. What was it like? Did you know the material going in? Did you see a script, or were you sort of like a little ignorant of how big a deal this was when you got involved?
I was, to an extent, completely disconnected from the story. For me, it was like I was auditioning for a while, and this came up, so I just treated it as another audition. You go in, you prepare, try and get a job, and then I read the book, and I realized what a powerful story it was.